Hey everybody, welcome to the Flipped Classroom. This is my first lesson that I'm going to give you guys in the Flipped Classroom, and this is about the program GIMP. This is GIMP lesson number 1. This lesson is all about downloading and installing GIMP. If you have already done this process before, feel free to skip this one and go on to lesson number 2. First, let's talk a little bit about GIMP and how this flipped classroom thing works. Basically, with the flipped classroom, you're going to watch this video as you're doing right now. I'll have the video posted on YouTube or possibly another place later on, depending on how these test runs go. And if you have any questions about the video, you can just ask them right in the comments on YouTube. And then also use with your parents. You can ask the questions through your parents, since I'm not allowed to communicate with any of my students privately via email. You can, if you have any questions, just give the questions to your parents or use your parents' email, and then when I reply to the email, I'm replying to your parents, so then that way your parents are copied in on everything, and there's no private communication between any of us. The program GIMP is an advanced photo editing program. It's very similar to the program Photoshop from Adobe. Adobe Photoshop is basically the industry standard. Basically, what these programs will allow you to do is take images and create these very fantastic pieces of art. Most people, they don't even realize it, but most people, when they visit a website, they're looking at images that have been created in Adobe Photoshop or GIMP. The biggest differences between GIMP and Photoshop is that Adobe's Photoshop with the Creative Suite can cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars, while GIMP is free. Photoshop is considered the standard of photo editing software, where just like Microsoft Office is considered the industry standard of Office products. But GIMP is still a fantastic program. Just because something is not the industry standard doesn't mean you can't do some great things with it. And GIMP is a fantastic program that you will be able to learn and do some really amazing stuff with, especially if you're one of the very artistic type. Now, if you miss anything in the lesson, the beauty of this being online and being a video lesson is that you can pause and rewind it, or bring your tracker back and replay it, so hopefully you can understand it. This is a lot better than the classroom setting, where if I'm up at the front of the class just giving lectures or giving you instructions on how to do something, 9 times out of 10 in a classroom of 25 kids, somebody is going to miss it, and then we have to repeat, which then slows down the whole process. Okay, so let's get started. As you can see on my screen, I'm already at the GIMP website, which is gimp.org. See, I've got it right up here, but I can't zoom in on this part, so it's hard to see. But basically, it says GIMP right here, so all I have to do in your web browser is go to GIMP.org. Doesn't matter what web browser you use, just go ahead and go to it. And then when you get to this page, this is where you'll be able to download it. Now, before you do this, keep in mind that GIMP is already downloaded and installed on all the student computers in the computer labs, both at St. Andrews and St. Patrick's. So this is something that you won't have to do there. This is more for everybody at home who wants to have the program up and running while we're going through the lessons, so they can practice some of the things that I'm showing you in the lessons, so that when you get to school for your next class after viewing the lessons, you can perform the tasks that I set out for you and the assignments that I give you in class. After having already received the lesson at home and then working on it in class with the assignment, we can go straight to my assisting you, as opposed to trying to give the lesson and then running around like a crazy person trying to answer everybody's questions and help them. So this gives you time at home to practice and work with it, and work with the program by yourself and on your own, so that you can master some of these things before you even get to school. That's why I love this whole idea of the flipped classroom. It's fantastic. Okay, anyway, so when you are at GIMP.org, in the main banner, which was probably created in GIMP, I would imagine, because it's actually a really cool little graphic, you just want to click on this download button right here. Now, GIMP should be smart enough, the GIMP website should be smart enough to recognize exactly what kind of computer you're using, whether it's a PC running Windows, a Mac running OS X, which is built by Apple, or a Linux machine. However, if it is not, here's how we're going to get around this. If you're running a Windows or a PC computer, you're just going to want to go right here to where it says download GIMP 2.8.4 under the GIMP for Windows. However, if you are running a Mac or a Linux machine and you still just see GIMP for Windows, scroll down a little bit past the user manuals and you'll see where it says show other downloads. Click on that. And then in here you'll see several downloads. We're back at the top here. You can see under the downloads section we have several downloads for Linux machines. GIMP for Unix-like systems, Ubuntu, OpenSUSE, Fedora, Mandriva, BSD, Solaris. These are all Linux systems. So if you have a Linux box at home, you're going to have to probably figure out exactly which flavor of Linux, because one of these will probably work better for that particular type of flavor of Linux that you're using. But if you're running Mac, if you have a Mac or Apple computer at home, we have the section here for GIMP for Mac OS X. And then basically you just want to go to download GIMP 2.8.4 no python -dmg-1.dmg or download GIMP 2.8. Either one of these two, those will get you into GIMP and you'll be able to use the program just fine. Now again, I'm going to use the Windows version, so I'm going to go back. Looks like it brought me back to the home page, so I'm going to go back to download and I'm going to go to download GIMP 2.8.4. This brings me to SourceForge. So I'm automatically on SourceForge. SourceForge is a very popular website for free programs, safe, tested free programs. And when you get here, the download will start. And for me, my Save As window pops open. If you're doing this with Internet Explorer on a PC, make sure you click Save. Don't click Run, because if you click Run the program, and something happens to your internet connection in the middle of the download, you'll have to restart the whole process all over again. So I suggest you click save it someplace where you can find it very easily, and then after it's downloaded, then click run. So I'm going to click save here because I'm going to put it in my downloads folder. I have a pretty fast internet connection. My internet connection runs at about 30 megabits per second. GIMP is a big program. I want to say it's probably 100 megs, possibly even larger, depending on the different flavor that you're using. So depending on how fast your internet connection is, it could take a little while to download it, probably as many as 5 to 10 minutes. My internet connection is pretty fast, so I've already got it. And then the page will flip over here when you get it, but you should already be downloading it, so it shouldn't matter. I'm just going to click on my download after I get it. I'm going to go ahead and shrink this window. And I'm going to have my open file security warning up. I'm going to click run. Now here's my user account controls. If you're running a PC with either Windows 7 or Windows Vista, your user account control will pop up. I don't think you guys can actually see this though. I think you're just seeing a black screen. But basically the top of the window, it says user account control. Then it's asking me, do you want to allow the following program to make changes to your computer? Check the program name, make sure it says GIMP setup, and as long as it does, click yes. Now we have the select setup language. There are several languages in here. If you speak one of these languages fluently, feel free to select it. I do not, so I'm gonna pick English. Then we have the GIMP setup splash screen. It's a pretty straightforward setup, nothing that you really need to customize. So from here you can just click install. Now the install process could take a little while depending on how fast your computer is. My computer here is pretty fast, but during this time I want to take a moment to show you some of the different things that you can do with GIMP. Okay, so back in my web browser, I'm going to go ahead and open up one of these other pages that I've pre-selected for you to look at here. This particular image is on gimptutorials.net, which you can see right up here, and I can scroll up the top of the page and you can see gimptutorials.net. You might want to bookmark this page because you probably will be working with this a little bit. It's a very awesome website in my opinion. They have tons and tons of tutorials, so you can work through the GIMP program and learn how to do many of the really awesome things that it can do. But gimptutorials.net. And this image right here, I wanted to show you. The GIMP program works in layers. meaning that when you're working with a photo, you're creating different layers to the photo. And it works very much in the same process like if you're working with a piece of poster board for science fair or another project at school. In this image right here, we can see the gray background. This gray background was probably how the image originally started. And what the artist did here was they created a new image in GIMP with this gray background, and that became their first layer, or what's often called the background layer. Then they probably cut and paste, or cut this hand holding the gun out from another image and pasted it on top of the background layer, and then started adding in all these other pieces. Just from looking at this right here, I can see with the background layer being 1 and the hand and the gun being 2, probably have 3, 4, 5, and then the blue here is 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm going to say with this image there is at least 17 layers. There's quite possibly a lot more here. I haven't actually done this one yet. In fact, these little white cloud thingies could be more layers as well. It's tough to say, but we can say for sure though that there is at least 17 layers. I'm going to show you another image that I personally created with GIMP. This is the Northland Noise website. This is the website for my Sporting Kansas City supporters group. I created this website, and this image at the very top, this is an image that I created in GIMP. And this is a very good image actually, because you can actually see the various layers that went into creating this picture. And I started with this picture. I started with the background picture of the people. You see the people in the background? These are all friends of mine actually, members of our supporters group. And this picture was taken at a Sporting Kansas City game. So I started with that picture in the background. Then I took the Sporting Kansas City logo, and using the logo I created a pattern, as you can see right in here. I took that pattern and I overlaid that over the background. Then I turned down the opacity of that pattern layer. The pattern layer is number 2, by the way. I turned down the opacity so that you could see through. In other words, I made that layer kind of see-through, so you could still see the logos, but then you could also see the people underneath. See the hand here? So you could see that there's a group of people in the background, but then there's this nice film of the Sporting Kansas City logo on top of it. Then I took the Northland Noise logo. I cut this out of another image that I already had of it. Cut it out real nicely so it was just the image, and then I copied it and pasted it onto this particular image so we could have our logo on there. That's layer number 3. Then I created a line of text. A line of text that says Northland Noise. So that's right up here at the top, Northland Noise SG, and then that was layer number 4. Then I created another layer, SKC's Loyal Fans from the Northland. That was layer number 5. 5 layers right there, but then there's more. Layer 6. If you look very closely at the Northland Noise logo, you can see this kind of shadowy background, a shadow background here. That was layer number 7. And then on the text itself, you see, we have the blue here, then we have the dark blue along the edges. That is layer number 8, I believe. I also added a shadow to this, drop shadow. That would be layer number 9. Then the dark blue background here, layer number 10, and the drop shadow background behind it, which you can barely see on this one, as layer number 11. So yeah, I may have lost count somewhere in there, but about 11 layers to this one particular image, and it was created in GIMP. This is just some of the cool things that you can do with this program. So let's go back and look at the install process. There it is. Mine is finished, so I'm going to click on Finish. Then I'm going to click on Start. I'm going to find GIMP in my start list. I click on it. This might take a minute to open depending on your system. Mine actually opens up pretty quick, and voila, I'm in GIMP. Now, this is where this lesson is going to end. Remember, you can rewind and go back and review some stuff if you get lost, and feel free to ask questions in the comments below the video, or have your parents shoot me an email. That is rkitchen@stpatrickkc.com. And yeah, if you want to, go on ahead and go to the next lesson, or I'll see you in class. Ciao, ciao.